Hey there, hope you're doing well. Welcome to the video. So I just want to go over a little bit about Acts chapter 1, verses 12 to 26. There seems to be some confusion, and I just want to look at it from the perspective of the timeline. Okay, what led up to this conversation, and what happened after it. So this here. Um, This was concerning the replacement of Judas with Matthias. Okay, so yeah, and they cast lots for them, and the lot fell on Matthias, and he was numbered of the 11 apostles. Okay, so this was to replace Judas. But if we got back up a little bit, well, we know that Judas committed suicide. Okay, but we have to understand the mission that was given to the original 12. Okay, let me just bring up the picture here. These 12 right here, they were given a mission by Jesus earlier on. Uh, Paul was not on the scene yet. Okay, so we go back, so you can see here Judas replaced by Matthias. Okay, and then you had the original 11. So if we go back to Matthew 10, when they persecute you in one town, flee to the next, for truly I say to you, you will not have gone through all the towns of Israel before the Son of Man come. Some translation, finish going through all the city of Israel. Okay. So keep in mind, Jesus told them, I came for the lost sheep of Israel, the original 12. He also told them, do not go in the way of the Gentiles. Okay. So this is their mission. Alrighty. So we have it on the timeline, starting here. So you go to Matthew 10:23. It starts there. So this was late AD 27. Okay, Matthew 10:23 took place. So that mission went on, this green line, and it continues on here during the book of Acts. Okay, they're still going on with this mission. You keep in mind the seeds of Israel are considered Jews in every nation. Acts 2:5. That mission did not end until a sign of the Son of Man occurred in the sky in May of AD 66. Then, after that, let's go back here, Matthew 19:23 to 30. Jesus said to his disciples, truly I say to you, not only will, let's fast forward a little bit. And this here, by the way, the camel going through the eye of a needle, this had to do with the Jewish people at that time from the judgment of 12 tribes of Israel. Okay? And it connects with what Jesus is talking about here. Jesus looked at them and said, with man this is impossible, with God all things are possible. Then Peter said in reply, see, we left everything and followed you. What then shall we have? This is all connected. There's no disconnects here. Okay? Jesus said to them, truly I say to you, in the new world, ooh, I don't know if that's a very good translation. In the new world, let's try. It just doesn't sound right. Yeah, in the regeneration, when the Son of Man shall sit on his throne of his glory, he shall sit upon the 12th throne. And now used in second person plural here, referring to them. Okay, those who have followed me. So referring to the apostles. Judas did not follow them, but the other 11 did. Okay. So set upon the 12th throne, judging 12 tribes of Israel. That's why you needed 12, the original 12 needed 12 of the apostles. Okay, everyone that left house, brethren, father, mother, children, for my name's sake, to receive 100-fold shall inherit eternal life. So the Jews who left the houses, the brethren, sisters, father, mother, children, these were the Jewish people concerning the judgment of 12 tribes of Israel. They shall receive 100-fold, shall inherit eternal life. So this is what's going on during the judgment of 12 tribes of Israel. But many shall be last that are first, and the first that are last. So if you go back to Ezekiel 37, we're talking about the two sticks. You had the stick of Joseph and the stick of Judah. Let's go back to here. So the stick of Joseph arrived first, alrighty, because of what Peter wrote in 1 Peter. Hinted them the time to go and where to go. Babylon, which would have been Egypt. It's not code for anything. That was fabricated by Eusebius. It is not me. He's not referring to Babylon, Iraq, because you look at the history of the Jewish people. They had captivity. So the original audience read that letter. They knew right away he was not referring to Babylon, Iraq. So they were the ones that came first. So the first shall be last, and the last, which is stick of Judah, did not arrive till later, shall be first. So stick of Judah, the Jews who were in Jerusalem, who fled the temple, did not arrive until April 11th of AD 70. And then you had the 1260 days of Revelation 12:6. So they were the first ones to go. First Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 16, during their halfway through their last Yom Teruah, so they were to go first. They were raised up, meeting the Lord in the air. Okay, this I believe it happened in Petra. So the last was first to go, and the first was last to go. Okay, so that's what he was really referring to. Alrighty, so that's why Judas had to be replaced by Matthias. It's for the judgment of the 12 tribes of Israel. Okay, so this is based on these passages right here: Matthew 10:1-6, Luke 6:13-16, Matthew 19:28, Luke 22 verses 19 and 30, Acts 1:15-26. Okay, so it's based on those passages. Unfortunately, a lot of Catholics today think we refer to as succession. That is not at all what's happening here. This had to do with having the 12 had to do with the judgment of the 12 tribes of Israel, the 12 thrones, 12 tribes of Israel. Okay, this is not about a succession, which is ridiculous. So anyway, so what was going on there? You had 2/3 were cut off and perished. These were the Jews who rejected Christ, and then 1/3 should be left alive. Alrighty, so so this was not fulfilled until AD 73. It mostly fulfilled in AD 70 when the temple was destroyed, but you still had the lawless one who fled the temple, Olivet, who was actually the grandson of Judas Iscariot, by the way. Then you had the Jews who rejected Christ, who were at the Masada, the one that part of 2/3 are perishing. There are not that many left. And so it wasn't until Olivet gave them the speech, they committed mass suicide, and that was the last of Israel's enemy. Zechariah chapter 13, verse 8-9 was fulfilled, and the last of the Jews who came to Christ. Now, this was in April of AD 73 when the last of Israel's enemies were destroyed. The last Yom Teruah did not occur until September 18th through the 27th of September of AD 73, that same year. So what's interesting is that, knowing Jewish custom, they would have watchmen overseeing. I believe they were in Petra. They were overseeing the Masada, and they've been able to see the last their enemies destroyed. So that would been all the more reason for them to shout to the Lord during their last Yom Teruah, fulfilling 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 16. So anyway, the point I'm trying to make here is this is not an apostolic succession that the Catholics want to believe. Problem is with Catholic theology, the faith of Catholicism, the foundation is largely based on church fathers, which is a rewrite of church history, and they don't know that. With the 21st century mindset, it's very difficult for them to see just how easy it would have been for Eusebius and others to rewrite church history, given the fact he was a spiritual advisor to the emperor who had access to the tax collectors throughout the entire Roman Empire. There are only 20 libraries in the entire Roman Empire. The lower class not owning any scrolls at all. There was no such thing in middle class. The upper class were the ones that had scrolls. They had libraries. So it was actually very easy. They had papyrus, okay? So they did not have many copies of anything due to the difficulty of rewriting anything in papyrus. So it was not difficult to attain the entire collection of anything in the entire Roman Empire. And I know that's difficult for people to see, comprehend, but if you study the 4th century, I'm sure you'll come to the same conclusion eventually. We're not talking 21st century here due to press, printing press. So anyway, I think that's pretty much all I have Yeah, so again, you got to understand timeline. So the Catholic version of Peter is very different from the biblical Peter, the biblical narrative. It's just a very different Peter. Um, you know, it just goes to show the power of presuppositions. Once you believe something to be 100% true, that is not. Good luck erasing it. It's something that we're all struggling with. But anyway, it extreme. So if you believe that Peter was a pope or he went to Rome, good luck fitting that into the actual biblical timeline. And this is why I try to encourage people, everyone, purchase drawing software and piece it together. Here's actually a simpler version of this chart. Same time, this was 80-70, destruction of the temple, stick of Joseph, it became one stick, fulfilling Ezekiel 37:17. The stick of Judah fled, and they became one stick. So stick of Joseph there first, they prepared a place for the stick of Judah, and it became one stick. The first that were there was stick of Judah, they were last to go. The last was first, which was the stick of Judah. They were the first to go. So they were the ones that were the real deal, okay? The real Jews. The stick of Joseph, these were Jews that simply adopted Jewish or Greek culture. These were the Hellenistic Jews, okay? So in let's see here. No, that's not what I want. Let's see here. Actually, 2018. So I just want to show you the Greek here. Yeah, this is what I want right here. Okay. So this here, what confused a lot of people, right here, all right, race, nation, okay. This is referring to the Jews who have adopted Greek culture that have been spread out. So a race, Jew, people, Jews, nation, okay, and the nation, heathen world. These are the Jews that adopted the heathen world, the Greek culture. Okay, so in one respect, they were Gentiles. Okay, tribe, especially foreign, non-Jewish. Okay, but this is relative to. Remember, Jesus was talking to disciples in Matthew 28, who were the Jews of Judah. Okay, so you have to look. You have to look at that relatively. Who was Jesus speaking to? Keep in mind that Gentiles, okay, people are just non-Jew altogether. They were not in view at the time this conversation took place. It wasn't until 3.5 years later, Acts chapter 10. If you look at Peter, read it carefully, that chapter. Peter very cautious about breaking the law, going to Gentiles, okay? And he had to really think through things before he went ahead and preached the gospel to Cornelius' household. There's actually another law in the Old Testament where when a Gentile comes to you as a Jew, you have to respond, okay? Otherwise, he'd been breaking the law. But God had made the Cornelius' household clean. This is another aspect of the law that had to happen in order for Peter not to break the law as well. So they kind of go together, the cleansing of the Cornelius' household and the fact that they reached out to Peter. Okay, so, and then he had to follow suit. So piecing the two together, Peter thinking this through, okay, I need to go. He realized that, let's go to that verse real quick, or that chapter. So, so Cornelius explained to him, and therefore, still again, Cornelius was supposed to send Gentiles, his messenger, to Simon. Simon was fulfilling this mission right here, which is focusing on the city of Israel. Okay, so this is sort of reversed. This is where you got to understand, Peter was not going to Gentiles, okay? And so the Gentile went to Simon. And so, notice the direction here, alrighty? And so then Peter realized that there's no partiality, piecing together the fact that the vision, the sheep made clean, the animal made clean, not call unclean what I might call clean, and the fact that the Jews were reaching out to, or the Gentiles reaching out to Peter, okay? And Peter also had to point out, you yourself know what happened. Oh wait, no, that's not. Right here, verse 28. Peter said to him, "You yourself know how unlawful it is for a Jew to associate with or visit anyone of another nation, the Gentiles." Okay, referring to Gentiles. Okay, but this is 3.5 years after Matthew 28. So what did that tell you? They're not thinking in Matthew 28 of Gentile nations. They're thinking of Jews who came to Christ, or not came to Christ. Jews who've been scattered throughout the Roman Empire, who had adopted Greek culture. Okay, so that's what was in view here in Matthew 28. Okay, and as you recognize, 3.5 years later, it's how Peter points out it's unlawful for a Jew to associate with anyone of another nation, referring to Gentiles. Okay, this is 3.5 years after Matthew 28. So many people think Matthew 28 is referring to Gentiles. Okay, so having said that, I hope that you can see now what's in view here. It's Jews that have been scattered throughout the nations. That the Greek word that's used here in Matthew 28, again, let's see what verse is that? 28:19. Okay. Okay. Go therefore and make disciples of every nation. These were Jews, again, not Gentiles. Okay. If you think this is Gentiles, again, 3.5 years later, look what Peter said. That tells you they were not talking about Gentiles in Matthew 28. All right, the fact that he said unlawful for a Jew to associate. Let's look at Acts 10:28. Let's look at the Greek lexicon here. Matthew 10:28. Let's go to 10. Okay, and then 28. There we go. A Jew, Peter being a Jew, to unite of another race. Okay, this is referring to Gentiles. To approach, draw near to God. Okay. It's a foreigner. Okay, another race. Okay. So again, this is 3.5 years after Matthew 28, which is often referred to as the Great Commission. It's only Jews that are in view here. And also, I forgot to bring this up. Let's see here. Olivet discourse here. Olivet, okay. So, hopefully I have the passages here showing the fulfillment of the Great Commission. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah. So this is the map in 47 AD. This is how far the gospel had to be preached. Go to 47. That's how far I had to go. Okay. That was their known world based on the oikoumene, the Greek word that's used there. I thought I had all 4 passages using all 4 Greek words showing how this mission was fulfilled. I thought I had it on here. Okay, that's just the Greek lexicon. Anyway, I apologize, but there's 4 different Greek words. Here we go, video link. Okay, I think it's the one yep, this is it. So this gentleman here, he explains, God love the advertising, but he goes over all 4 Greek words that was used about the mission of the Olivet Discord, not the Olivet Discord, but preaching the gospel to the.
What's going on, everyone? Thanks for tuning back into the channel today.
So,
I'm Zach Davis, and today we want to answer the question, has the Great Commission been fulfilled? Before we get going, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel down below. Follow us on patreon.com/ZachDavis if you'd like to support the channel. When I say, has the Great Commission been fulfilled, I'm sure a lot of things. And please note, I'm not just giving you...
Anyway, so on and on it goes. So the point is, this passage is not a succession. It's a replacement of Judas with Matthias to fulfill the mission of what's going on then. The Catholic narrative is so different from the biblical narrative. In order a Catholic to get from point A to the narrative of church fathers, rewritten church history, to point B, to the actual biblical narrative, they have to completely start over, push the reset button, remove all the presuppositions, remove all the fallible, non-inspired sources, start over, study hermeneutics, and start applying it to the scriptures, and only use outset paradigm to verify the things happen with the time indicators given the Bible. And very few are even going to be willing to do that. This also applies to Orthodox as well, because their minds are also flooded with presuppositions of church fathers. And when reading church fathers, you have to be so careful. You really need to establish your theology, mature in your theology first, long before you study church fathers. That way you have a good benchmark to go by. And so, yeah, most people who have developed their opinion in theology of church fathers had no idea how to do that. And I just drive, hey, what you can do is put the reset button, study hermeneutics to obtain the author's intent, and piece together. Also purchase drawing software to piece together a timeline, which is what I did, right here. And, use drawing software to repeat it together. So anyway, this video went on a lot longer than I wanted to, but all I'm trying to say is it's not a succession, it's a replacement. And it's 2 very different understandings of who Peter is and the mission that they had. So anyway, thank you very much, and hope you have a great day.